of the tour, and that is the berth. So where the ships are. So I'm going to need to look at my list to tell you all the sizes. So I'm going to ask you to hold that. Okay, I need you to shout out what the name of the ship is, and then I'll be able to tell you how big it is. So does anyone know the name of this one? What's the pink one? Okay, one contribution is an 8,500 TEU ship. All right, so that's not even, that's like half the size. Brighton is only 6,250 TEUs.
That's the hatch covers for that.
Someone had asked a question about, I was talking about the hatches. And we just passed two hatches over there.
That's the
Who
hatch
asked
cover.
that question?
That's the hatch covers, right?
The hatch covers, exactly. So can you all see what's happening here? The truck is pulling up. I don't know, I haven't paid attention to see if what was happening was they were being put on the ship or off the ship. Let's look at this. Off the ship. Okay. So those are going off the ship, so those are imports. And you know what?
That'll be there.
I'd like you to pull over. Let's ignore the police officer. Let's pull over here so that people can see. Try to get an angle so they can see what's happening. Okay. I know this is probably not a good angle for everybody, but I just want you guys to get a chance to see the process. So let's wait and see what he's doing. Okay. So did you see those handles come down? Yeah, we don't have a. Oh, perfect. Okay. So this one on the right is going down, and those fly bars on each of the four corners is going to turn a turn, and it's going to lock that gangway box in place, and he's going to put it on the ship. So again, like I was saying earlier, so these ships, these are stacked, 5 high? Some of them are stacked 7 high. You're only seeing half of the container boxes on that ship because they're stacked 7 deep into the hull of the ship. Yes. So here's a question I have for you. Where is the container crane operator? He is in that small blue box at the top. Do you see a blue box there coming across? Okay, so he is hunched over. He has a plexiglass floor, and he has a joystick, and he is controlling exactly how that crane picks up and where it needs to go. And it's really exciting. I've been up in the crane with them as they're operating. They have a really hard job. They work for 2.5 hours at a time, and then they take a break. And like I said earlier, they get paid really well. But only the best of the best get to be these crane operators. First of all, we train them at a warehouse a mile away from this berth, not even. And it's like a Disney World ride. I've been in it. You get into a seat. Your screen is the animated exact specs of the Savannah River, and the seat moves. You hear the sound of picking up the container. You're not really doing any of that. This is all a simulator, but that's where they train. They train on the simulator, and we found that is a lot less expensive than having them train with somebody operating these ships. So these cranes cost about $13 million a piece. So first thing that happens when a hurricane is coming is that the Coast Guard voids the channel, meaning all ships cannot be anywhere at any of the berths, nor any point in our channel. And we take all of the container cranes and line them all up so they're all tied to each other in a row. They are fastened into the concrete on this berth, and we're very lucky because we have never had one of these $13 million cranes fall over. If we did, it would have to be cut up for scrap metal, because once it falls over, it loses its engineering integrity. That's happened to a Gulfport, I believe, a few places where they've fallen over after a hurricane or an accident, and we're lucky enough to have not had that happen. So the river looks really narrow from here, doesn't it? And you wonder, can you have two of the huge ships going past each other at the same time? For most of that river, you can. There's a few bends where you need one of the ships to kind of be over to the side and allow another one to pass. But believe it or not, that river is wide enough to handle two ships going in either direction. And that's because while the bigger ships have gotten a little bit wider, they've especially gotten longer and higher. So there has not been a problem with the width of our river. So every ship that comes goes all the way past our berth, and it goes to a turning basin. I'll point out to you where that is. It turns around, and then it parks at our berths. Yes?
So, how does he know where to put weight-wise? Is there a computer that's telling him?
Yes, so he has a monitor, and it's all explained to him on the computer where everything needs to go. So you have people on the ground, you have people on the ship that are directing this. Let me ask you guys a question. How many people do you think live on these ships? Anyone want to take a guess?
30.
7, 8 dozen, 30? 30? Okay. You guys are really good, because a lot of the time I get people on here and they say 250, 500. It's actually only about 18 people live on these ships. You have very nice quarters for the captain and the first mate, and then they go downhill for everybody else. All right, if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to continue on. Did anyone have any more questions about this? Yes.
Are there pilots on the ships?
What's that?
Outside of the harbor.
Oh, the pilots. Okay, so the pilots are guarding. You know, they're controlling the vessel as it's coming in, but the U.S. Coast Guard takes command at the mouth to the ocean. You know, at the buoy, they take command of that ship, and they bring it in. All right, so we're going to keep going and see what other ships we see, but the important thing is this pink ship, which is the one contribution. All right, that's an 8,000 ship. What I'm hoping is that we get to see, we have a 14,000 TU ship that should be at our berth today, and I'm hoping we get to see.